This is PIX on Politics Daily with Dan Manarino.
Hey there, I'm Henry Rosoff, and welcome to PIX on Politics Daily. Well, today we have an interesting dive into a topic you may or may not have heard something about this past week. The MTA announced that it was going to potentially begin using artificial intelligence in its growing network of cameras to try and stop problems in the subway. That being said, how they're doing it, why they're doing it, and exactly what's going on is the subject of a lot of conjecture and concern, especially from groups like the New York Civil Liberties Union. And to help us step through all of this and talk about some other topics of the intersection of immigration, we're bringing in Donna Lieberman, the executive director of the New York Civil Liberties Union. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's good to see you.
So Donna, talk to me about some of the concerns with this policy. Basically, they're going to use AI to spot someone, let's say, stumbling or acting, as they say, erratically, send police, and then we go from there. What's your concern about that, the MTA implementing something like that?
Yeah, AI is so attractive in so many ways. But what we always forget is that AI is all about rounding up the usual suspects. It's about assuming things based on who we have arrested, identified before. And it's in tension with the very important principle that we're all judged on our behavior, not on some stereotype. And historically, the roundups, the arrests of people in subways and on our streets have been overwhelmingly lopsided and biased against Black and brown people. So our fear about the codification, if you will, through artificial intelligence of racialized policing is real. The fear of predictive policing is a real one. We don't arrest people in this country, in our system of justice, for being the type. We arrest them for having done something wrong, and we can interfere in how they go about their lives based on their behavior in the moment, not on some prediction that you're going to do something wrong. So that's a problem. Another problem is transparency. We don't know what this technology really is doing, and we don't know what kind of data it is collecting, storing, and using to perpetuate good or bad. So we need to have transparency about what they're planning to do. Other than that, okay.
Other than everything, it's okay.
Right.
So, I mean, it feels like there's a sense in all walks of our life that artificial intelligence is coming, right? So is the Civil Liberties Union saying no to all of this, or you need to give us a lot more information? There need to be road rules. I mean, where do you draw the line? Because it's almost like can you fight the current? Can you push back against the ocean of this stuff coming? Or does it just need to be more considered when you're using some of these tools?
Well, I wouldn't say that we're against all of it, no. But I think that there has to be a real meaningful commitment to transparency and a recognition and addressing of the problems raised by the privacy concern, the data collection, the who has access to the data, how it's being used. I mean, it means something in terms of racialized policing. It also means something about in terms of immigration. Is this going to become a tool for Trump's deportation machine? Who knows? And as a New Yorker, I care. So one of the things about artificial intelligence is like it's artificial, and that is no substitute for human judgment and assessment of real life problems and situations. So we're not Luddites. We use technology. We approve of technology, but it has to be done right, and policy just has to catch up.
Another sort of bubbling related issue using artificial intelligence is gun spotting, and there's a lot of different versions of this. Are they looking for lumps under a jacket, which gets much more problematic much more quickly? Even the experts will tell you that. Others just spot like kind of an open weapon, which is a little bit more of a clear-cut thing, but if they mistake a cell phone for a gun, then you've got a major problem very quickly. So I mean, is the weapon spotting stuff, has the Civil Liberties Union taken a position on that? Is there concern over that tech as well?
Shot spotter is a problem as well. The false positives, the racialized impact of it is a problem, and it should be a problem. There's no magic bullet in policing, and artificial intelligence is not a magic bullet. And I think we have to be, we have to appreciate that policing needs to be about on the ground engagement with the public, and you can't robotify it. We can't deploy humans not to think, but to use, what robots tell them to do. Because when you do, you round up the usual suspects. That is never a good thing, and it's particularly not a good thing because of the racial impact of it. And we can't substitute a robot for a human mind. We just can't. They're better in some ways, but when it comes down to human interactions, they're not.
Let's talk about immigration for the last couple of minutes here. You already mentioned it in the context of some concerns related to this technology, but zooming out, bigger picture, Trump administration doing a number of things that I know the Civil Liberties Union has a great deal of concern about: on the border, going after students in campuses, mass deportations in general of undocumented people. I know it's a lot, but what are your top one or two concerns at the moment that you're watching most carefully right now, particularly in New York City?
Yeah, the cruelty, the inhumanity of the Trump deportation machine is unconscionable. And I think Americans are beginning to appreciate that the Trump administration is trying to use immigration to do away with some very important democratic principles, like the principle that the government shouldn't be able to throw you out of the country, throw you into some foreign gulag without at least due process. I mean, the notion of throwing people into a foreign gulag to do the dirty work for the Trump administration is just like mind-boggling. But we believe in due process. We believe that anybody can be falsely accused of anything, and they should have their day in court to vindicate their rights. Well, Trump is using immigration to do away with it, and the casualties are people who they claim are gang members, but we're finding out are like sports enthusiasts. We're finding out that they're going after people even who have done everything they can to follow their rules. They're here legally because they're following the rules set up by the immigration process. And guess what? Right? The Trump administration changes the rules in the middle of the game, right? And suddenly they're picked up, thrown into prison, exiled, torn away from their families, thrown out of school, taken out of medical treatment for cancer, a 4-year-old boy. Kids are thrown out of the country without a lawyer. I mean, it goes on. And I don't think that no matter what your position on immigrants and immigration, nobody wants to see that kind of injustice done. And the ACLU is fighting tooth and nail with every legal means at our disposal to stop the inhumanity, to stop the cruelty, and stop the use of immigration enforcement to suppress free speech. In this country, everybody's got the right to free speech. Everybody's got the right to express their opinions lawfully, peacefully, and nobody can be thrown in jail or exiled from the country or put into deportation proceedings because they have the wrong ideas. So I think that's really important for all Americans to push back against this deportation juggernaut that is really hurting us. It's not making us safer.
And of course, in court, the Trump administration, specifically Secretary of State Marco Rubio, has argued that, his say-so should be enough, that there is a national security interest, and judges have been really grappling with that. We're going to have to. I know you have more to say about this, and
There's
I don't
a lot.
think. Yeah, this will not be the last time we're discussing, I'm sure. But Donna, will have to leave it there. Donna Lieberman, Executive Director of the New York Civil Liberties Union, talking MTA's new artificial intelligence initiatives, and at the end, their immigration. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Take care.
And that'll do it for this edition of PIX on Politics Daily. You can catch us every weekday, same time, 1 o'clock. I'm actually hosting our show this evening, the big PIX on Politics show with Dan Manarino. Dan is actually out in the field at this moment interviewing former Governor Andrew Cuomo. He doesn't give many interviews in this race for mayor. We've got some good questions planned. We're also checking in on the New Jersey race for governor with former Senate President Steve Sweeney. A good show. Check it out tonight at 6:30 with a re-air on Sunday morning. For now, I'm Henry Rosoff. Have a great day.